following video captures the story of one of many young people interviewed as part of a COVID-19 Recovery Scenarios project. This project is a partnership between Melbourne's Inner Northern Local Learning and Employment Network and UNESCO Univoc at RMIT. In this video, we hear Bella's story. Bella is 15 years old, lives in the inner northern suburbs of Melbourne, and is in Year 10 at a state high school. In her story, Bella speaks to us about the challenges of isolation, the importance of school, her anxiety about the climate crisis, and the importance of young people's voices in leading social and political change. Bella speaks of her hopes and her aspirations for the future in terms of her independence, her studies, and for a career.
Things I do in my daily life, my hobbies. I I watch Netflix. I watch YouTube. I go on TikTok. Very teen girl things. Just the average Melbourne girl. I ride my bike around sometimes. I practice basketball, though I haven't been able to play any games in a long time, which is a bit sad. So I've just been practicing on my own. I swim, not really anymore though. Sad. I read books. I try to read every day. I try to practice piano every day, learning songs and stuff. It's all kind of reduced a bit nowadays. I sort of spend a lot of time on screen, social media, Instagram, talking to people, Skyping, Zooming, whatever.
In what follows, this young person speaks of their experience of the present, in particular, the impact of COVID-19 on their life, in terms of their education, work, their health and well-being. We hear about the challenges, uncertainties, the opportunities and disruptions that this young person has had to deal with at this time.
What's been the biggest challenges or opportunities? Biggest challenges, no schedule, sort of boredom, loneliness, I guess, no social interaction, lack of motivation because there's nothing really to motivate you, no teachers, no things to look forward to. That's been really hard for me because I like, I'm actually like a theatre person, so I like, performing and stuff, and there's tons of things I've been excited to that have been taken away from me. I was going to write the school cabaret this year and I didn't get to do that. Opportunities. Oh yeah, and also another downside, probably screen time. I spend a lot of time on screen, on social media, and I do feel sort of addicted to that in some ways because it's my only source of social connection or whatever, apart from my family. Opportunities, more free time, obviously. I guess practice more piano, and just do things that I've been wanting to do. But also, it's kind of hard to do that when there's, you don't always end up doing it. No FOMO, no anxiety, more freedom to do things, connect with family, get creative, don't have to worry about, getting ready for school every day or your appearance or anything, and watch more movies and TV and whatever. Something I've learned, the importance of community, I guess, how much I actually rely on teachers and my friends and school and how much I miss it. If I was going to do it again, lockdown, I'd say what would make it easier is just finding things to look forward to and be excited about, and finding little projects that I can look forward to, because that really helps me. Something, how it's impacted my feelings about my future. Well, school, it's certainly impacted how I see school, because I've had this structure in my life since I was 4 years old, and I've been going to it, and then suddenly it's sort of ripped away, and it makes the whole thing sort of seem so much smaller but so much more important, I guess, and just teachers and all that stuff. I think COVID's probably made me more anxious and my mental, it's like, I wouldn't say it's been beneficial to my mental health. I probably experienced the first sort of real sort of depressive sort of symptoms now, because I'm quite an extroverted person, so I do rely on people. So sometimes it feels like, nothing's going to get better and I have nothing to look forward to, which sounds quite depressing, and it's probably just dramatic and like angsty 15-year-old. I don't know. So.
In what follows, this young person shares their perspective on what the world will be like in 2025. These unique responses capture confidence, hope, anxiety, and worry about the economy, work, racism, education, politics, and climate change, and about the responsibilities of governments, business, and communities.
Okay, so I've got a lot to say about 2025, so I'll try to keep it succinct. In 5 years' time, I think social media will play an even greater role in our lives. I think technology will dominate every industry. Less jobs, a greater divide between rich and poor, more billionaires and more slums. I think politics will be more divisive and polarized than ever. The left and the right ostracized by social media and sort of social media bubbles that sort of only reflect and give back and opinions that support your own. I think as times will improve, racism will be eradicated more. I think, minority groups and women will get better representation in media, which will help a lot, and more representation in politics, and same with LGBTQ people. So I do see hope there. In terms of the economy, that's something I'm not sure about, and I sure hope in 5 years there's a stable economy in Australia and around the world, and I hope there's not a financial crisis coming soon. I hope there's not a global financial crisis soon. I hope there's not a civil war coming soon. I hope there's not a global war coming soon. That doesn't mean it's not going to happen, and it does honestly seem possible, especially with, society is certainly not stable right now. So I can't say for sure, and it does concern me. Global warming, that does look quite negative to me in the next 5 years. I don't see us turning in the way that we need to, in a really sharp, perpendicular sort of way. Like, we need to have really, decisive actions now to take against global warming, climate change, and stop pollution and forest deforestation and all that horrible stuff, and acid rain and droughts and floods and all this, like wildfires. Who knows what the summer is going to bring this summer with wildfires in Australia. It's really scary, and we just stop being greedy, but I do see ourselves doing sort of quite a curving sort of lurching turn, rather than the perpendicular turn that we need to make right now. The government needs to make, that we as people need to demand. I just don't see it happening that quickly, judging by the last 5 years, where change just hasn't happened quick enough. So yeah, I'm probably pretty worried about that. I do see climate change being sort of the downfall of humanity. So I look at that with quite a lot of anxiety. My number one concern is definitely the environment when it comes to the next 5 years. Climate change, global warming, treating the planet and the environment and our fellow living creatures with respect and care that we have been denying them for centuries. And now we're paying the costs, and our generation, Gen Z, and the next generations that come are going to have to pay for that. And young voices need to be heard because of that, I really think. And I really think that is what's going to bring change, if anything, is young people, and united, not being polarized, and standing together, and not shaming people for ignorance, and educating about the environment, I think, is really important. I think the government needs to be harder on corporations, and billionaires and pollution and greed, I think. And we need to think about the future. We need to think about sustainable options, and the government needs to put more policy in, because these corporations, we think we need to we need to demand from them that they abide by what is good for humanity, because that is what, that's what the government's there for, and is to make these companies stay in line. And and I try as an individual to to ride a bike, not pollute, and to eat a vegan diet as much as I can. But if I'm not doing that, then sometimes it does feel very futile, and I feel very anxious about what the future will bring. And I just hope that the government moves fast.
In this final response, this young person voices their hopes and aspirations for their future. Some speak to their aspirations for education, training and work, some about housing and independence, relationships, travel, income or community. Some are confident that they will have the right support to meet their needs, while some are anxious and uncertain, finding it difficult to imagine what the future holds for them.
Would be, but I certainly have options at this point. I'd also hope to have a steady, good, reliable part-time job. I'm not quite sure how possible that's going to be in the future. I would not be surprised if in 5 years I'm still living in this house, judging by the current housing situation in Melbourne and prices. For many, I would not be alone in that situation. And I'm very grateful to have a great family and a loving home that would be there for me in 5 years, which I realize is something not everyone has. I do, obviously, there's the nice fantasy of studying abroad in somewhere like, amazing, like London or Tokyo or Milan, but I'm realistic about the chances and the costs of that happening. Some skills and experiences that I think I'll need in the next 5 years. How to be a good person, how to collaborate with people, how to get a job, how to work in that job, how not to procrastinate, how to be kind, more about the world, more about politics. I don't know a lot about a lot of things, I'm sure, and I hope to be a lot more educated in 5 years than I am now. How confident are you that you're going to be able to do the things you really want to do in 5 years? I'm not even confident about the things I want to do in 5 years. I know that I want to be at university. I know I want to be in a good situation in life with good people around me. I do believe that, good things come to people who work hard. So I do plan on working hard in the next 5 years. I really hope that there's still good jobs in the arts, which is where I want to go, and in journalism, which is something that interests me. And I really hope that society still throws these things as valuable in 5 years, because I know with COVID, certainly that's an industry that's being threatened, and who knows if there's going to be another pandemic in the next 5 years. Like, you just can't predict these things. And I hope the things that I'm passionate about now, I am still allowed to be passionate about in 5 years, and there's still a place for that, and there's still funding for that. Because that's the things that always really excited me as a kid, and those are the sort of jobs and the people in those jobs that I looked up to, and I would be really sad if those things aren't supported. So some changes or forms of support that would help me get there would be funding for those sorts of jobs, and the jobs, performing, the arts, journalism, all these things that are sort of threatened by a number of different factors. Having those jobs still there, and having those education systems to get you there still there, and having that still be an accessible form for people like me and in the situation I'm in. Also teachers. I think good teachers are something so valuable to society, and something sometimes gets taken for granted. I'm really lucky to have some really good teachers at my school who have really inspired me and improved my self-confidence. And I think to have a teacher, if you're lucky enough to have a teacher that believes in you and is paid enough and is reliable and there for you and passionate about their subject and makes you feel passionate about it and makes you feel inspired is so powerful and can change your life and change your self-confidence forever. And I hope that in the 5 years I'll have many good teachers, because I'm not sure if I would want to become a teacher, but it's certainly I think, you know, you're always being taught and you're always teaching for the rest of your life. So yeah, making sure there's teachers and good teaching and funding for teachers, good educated teachers, because you want educated people to be teaching you, of course. So yeah.